Was too tapped into my JoJo, so I'm starting late. Usually I start like midday, but it's like 7 o'clock right now. Oh, ooh, it's almost 8 o'clock right now. I need to figure out where I want to start with this. Like I know, like it looks crazy, but I just really need to highlight where the feathers lay and the direction of the feathers. And doing like the detail of the feathers was a little bit too much for me, so I just had to tap into carving which way it's going, and I think I'm just gonna work my way up. I'm still not exactly sure how I'm gonna do the inner feathers, just because I haven't done any wings that go like in the way this one does, so that's gonna be pretty interesting. I think I'm gonna start off with black. I could make my own black, but I'm just gonna start off with black. And hopefully this is not, I don't regret doing this by starting off with black. I feel like I just need to, ooh, I didn't think about which wing I want to start with. I think I'm gonna start with this one. Because I feel like I need to start with the shadows. The reason why I feel like I needed to restart the wings was because I felt like my shadows for the wings weren't accurate, and I kind of want to make sure that my feathers have a ton of movement. And if it doesn't, I kind of ruin the whole point of making a dynamic pose in the first place. So I just need to kind of figure out how I'm gonna approach this challenge, I guess. And the outside of the wings is not gonna stay this color. I just needed it so I can identify where the wing is going. Which is kind of, this is like super interesting to look at, because I don't know why I picked teal. I just picked whatever was on like the paper plate 2 days ago. Or was it 2 days ago? It was yesterday. I should have live streamed yesterday, but I've been making excuses on why I can't live stream. So I'm like, I like natural sunlight, and right now I have a light propped up because I don't really like yellow light, I guess. Well, I feel like it's much harder to paint with yellow light than it is with white light, because it influences how the colors are gonna look. And then when natural sunlight hits, it doesn't look the way that I want it to look. So I quite literally grabbed one of my studio lights so I can go live today and make some content. Oh my gosh, hold on. I need to make like a TikTok. I need to get another phone stand. I was low-key listening to music. Well, the reason why it's so late is because I was too tapped into watching JoJo. I've been rewatching the series because I heard a new season's coming out and I'm super excited for it. So now I feel like I need to rewatch the entire series because I kind of forgot what happened. Because after the last season, I feel like everyone feels this way though. After the last season was just so bad. I never want to tap it again. It like it turned into the archives real quick after that last season. And right now, it's like 8, practically 8. And it took everything in me not to go drink a Monster right now. But I felt like well, Monster just gives me energy and it makes me super like, yes, yes, yes. The only thing though is I knew that after this stream I'm gonna go to bed. And I didn't want to struggle to go to sleep. Although I didn't think that was, there's something about this that I am not liking. Okay, let me think. Because the way this isn't working out, hold on. I don't really like what is going on right now. And I'm trying to figure out how to fix this. I think the shadows shouldn't be going the way that I'm making the wings, so now I'm like, I don't know. I need to play around with this a little bit because this, this is not exactly turning out the way that I would like it to turn out right now. So I really need to trust the process right now. I think I need to stop like following. I was following the way of whichever the feather is going, and that's not working out. So we're gonna change it, and I'm just gonna go down, because since these are sitting on top, then the bottom part would kind of be darker. So hopefully this makes the wings look slightly better. But even now, this looks really Gracie to me. I definitely need to trust the process right now. Hey to whoever's watching. This is the first time streaming this late. And I'm still trying to figure out a time of when the best time to stream. At least for me, and then like for the people who like view. And so far I think it's like midday. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why. Like, yeah, I was watching JoJo, but like I don't know what else I was doing to not be streaming earlier today. I got off of work at like 3. And then what did I do? Oh, I stopped. I stopped at a bunch of places. Okay, that makes sense. And I usually like to chill out a little bit before I start painting or filming anything. But I must have been like really chilling out because it's like 8 now. Wait, hold on. Is it 8? It's practically 8. Let's see. I think it's going somewhere. It's not going exactly where I need it to go, but it's going somewhere. And that's all I need right now for it to be going somewhere. But I'm starting to think maybe it's because I'm using black. Because using like pure black for whatever reason is super frowned upon. Well, it's because it makes your paintings flat. But you're never gonna get a true black. And anyway, I'm gonna go over it anyway. So I feel like it's fine. But maybe it's impacting the way that this is looking because I'm using black and I didn't make my own black. I could very much do that, but I know the wings are going to be super dark, so I need to make sure that the shadows are even darker than the wings. And I'm still a little bit uncertain if I want to go more of like a dark brown or a dark greenish brown for the wings. So I'm still deciding on that. Or it might be like a mixture of the both, like kind of like a multicolored wing. Which I think would be pretty interesting. I also changed the placement of the, oh, that's right. I was gonna work on the eyes. I just remembered that. Because I know last stream, I didn't have all of this done. I just had like some of the wings done and it was still gray. And they didn't have the eyes on it yet, but now I have like the eyes and stuff. And I'm pretty satisfied with the placement of all of the eyes. So now I just have to like put more detail into the eyes. Which should be fine, but I told myself that I was gonna do the eyes before I do the wings because I want the wings to go a certain way around the eyes, and if I do too much details to the wings and then I have to go in and fix the eyes, that's gonna be very problematic for me. But I think as long as I do the wings all the way up until the eyes and then I just kind of stop, then it should be fine. Because so far where all the eyes are, I'm not gonna change it. I do like the placement, but I might change the size of the eyes. They were slightly bigger, but when I did have them bigger, it wasn't working out. It wasn't working out at all. Dun, dun. This is definitely my most out there painting. I've never made something that looks so creepy. Like, in a sense, it's like super cool, but also it's like really creepy. I need to make sure that I am like filming a TikTok while I'm doing this. Okay, let me like. Ooh, no. I don't like the shadow. Okay, scratch that. I actually am not gonna film a TikTok while I'm doing this. I'm just gonna do this and continue. My biggest thing about like YouTube right now is just being consistent and doing things outside my comfort zone. I'm still trying to get used to streaming, so even though I'm like talking to nobody right now, it's fine. I think once I learn how to talk to the camera and be able to communicate what I'm doing or thinking or whatever the video is about, it'll be good. I think I'm adding too much water. I need to like chill. Actually, let me back up so I can see what I'm doing. I was gonna start with each wing at a time, but I think I'm just gonna do all the like really dark parts of the wing. Yeah, I'm gonna do all the really dark parts of the wing and then kind of work my way back to that area. I'm a little I wish, see, this is my problem. I can't decide on the colorway that I want to go with the wings, so it's very hard for me to decide on. Oh, it's hard for me to picture how I want the wings to look just because I don't know what color I want to use. Like, I think particularly this, like, not the design. The design is like within my wheelhouse, but the type of colorway is so far from what I do. Especially since I don't have any paintings with this much red. So I'm still trying to figure out how I want the colors to look. And make sure that they're not clashing. And I kind of want it to look a little bit realistic. I don't know how that's gonna look, but I do want at least the feathers of this angel to look realistic. Because right now I'm pretty satisfied with the background, but I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to add orange around the figure or if the orange is going to clash with the colors. So I'm going to have to, I might not scan it, but like take a picture and Procreate and just kind of test some colors. Oh, that's a great idea. That's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to test some colors in Procreate and see which colors look the best, which will probably be my best bet. Because I kind of don't want to use too much paint and then have to paint over everything that I just did because I decided that I actually don't like the colors. But then also, there's something about this teal. There's something about this teal I really like. which is very interesting. Like, I was thinking maybe instead of white highlights, I do teal. Because this, the way it, like, I don't think I would have picked teal as a highlight. And it makes, I don't know, something about this, like, contrast with the teal, it really does something for me. It really, and even this yellow, I was debating on if I was gonna keep the yellow or not. First one here, and it's my second visit. Oh my gosh, I remember you from the last live. Hey, welcome back. I know I have so much done from like the last live. The last live, I think it was, the wings were just gray and the background was like one color, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was. Because I did a lot of this off of camera. Because I wanted to try some things. And I just like highlighted. That's true. Yeah. So I kind of just highlighted where I wanted the directions I wanted the wings to go, because I didn't really have a clear idea of how I wanted the wings to flow. And it's a little bit hard to paint feathers if you don't have an idea of the type of direction that each of them are gonna go in, I guess. And plus I was having problems with the values. So now I'm just kind of going in and putting in my values so I can make it look like wings. Wait, let me see. That's actually interesting. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Can you see the eyes? Like, I don't know if you can actually see the eyes from... Because the eyes are kind of like blended in to the wings, but they're gonna be more out there. I just have to really paint them in. I think I want to go for like more of like a realistic... Okay. I did move the eyes. I moved the eyes like several times. Because at first, these eyes right here, if you can see them, they were like here. But the eyes were too close to these ones, and I feel like it kind of clashed, so I had to move them up. And at first they were bigger, but I didn't like the way that they were looking. But I do think I am gonna do oil over this. So after I finish with this underpainting, which is taking a lot longer than I expected to, but I think it's just because I'm unsure about the colorway. I would say like my generic colors that I use, a lot of blues, greens, purples, pink. But this is like super, well, I guess the colorway is out of my wheelhouse. I wouldn't say the actual design. The actual design is like, I think I make designs that are pretty this elaborate, I would say. But yeah. And I do think like the teal that's on here, I'm gonna use it as highlight, because looking at how it's interacting with the background and the like just the figure in general is very interesting to me. Because at first I was just using it as a way to highlight where the feathers were gonna go, but like this color, it's going somewhere. So I think I'm gonna use it for highlight for the wings. I do think like a brown wing would probably be more realistic. I could probably just look at how like an owl's wings look like to give it that like realistic feel. That would be interesting. I should look up a reference of that right now. Let's see. I don't want to do too much black near the eyes, just because I know that I want the feathers to go a certain way near the eyes. So I'm just trying to figure out. I think I should probably stop adding water, because it's kind of washing out the black a little bit, and I want to be super apparent where the shadows are for myself anyway. And I don't want to be confused about which wing is where, because if this one's in the front, I think there should actually be more black here. Yeah, I want to make sure that one is popping out more. So I'm gonna basically just establish whichever wing is in the front and whichever one is in the back. Because these two are in front of these. This is looking crazy. Oh my gosh. So interesting. I mean, since the black is washed out, it's not like... I mean, it's flattening it a little bit, but not too much. I think if I didn't add water, it would definitely be way more flatter than it is now. Wait, where was I at? Okay, I'm here. I don't want to confuse myself from what I'm doing and lose all the work that I did for tracing out the wings. Like, I need to take a step back and really look to what I'm doing. Okay, let's... Also, my goal with this whole process is to be a better, basically craft my paintings a little better than the last one. So I've been really trying to work on make each painting better than the last. And how I can make this painting better from the last is basically to plan it more. Definitely with my last one, I like my last painting, it was definitely good, but I wish I planned it out a little bit more. I think that was a little bit of like, not the downfall, like the downfall of the painting. I wouldn't call it the downfall. I just know that that painting would be significantly better if I planned it out a little bit better. So I think for this painting, I'm just planning it out way better than I planned out the last one. And I just hope that it ends up being the way that I envisioned it, or even better than the way that I envisioned it. But I'm like a little nervous about how this is gonna turn out, because I don't want to have too high expectations and then be disappointed of what it ends up as. Although I think right now it looks pretty cool, but I'm definitely losing the vision a little bit because of how many times I've gone over it. Hey. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love when people type in the chat. What is the vision? Okay, so basically this is a biblical angel. I don't know if you have seen like my other paintings, but I paint a lot of biblically accurate angels, and I really want to paint a fallen angel, but a lot of the times fallen angels are depicted as like kind of like how archangels look. So human with wings and some sort of armor, or there's some sort of black figure falling out of the sky. What else are they depicted as? As like the typical demon. Yeah, I just want to go with something uh, like a seraphim, because a couple of them are also like fallen. So that's like a huge, I guess, misconception about the Bible of how fallen angels become fallen angels. So I wanted to basically depict one like this. I personally have never seen it. The colors are really, thank you, thank you. I've honestly been like back and forth with the type of colors that I'm trying to use. I'm also trying to like break out of my comfort zone with color. So I don't have like an exact, like, I wish I had the reference that I drew up for myself. Because at first it was gonna be some sort of like purple and red, but to be honest, purple is within my comfort zone, and my other option was green. So honestly, like this right here, this like it looks like it's black, but really it's a really dark green. And some of the feathers too, it's either like a brown or it's like a brownish green. So I do think, especially with this teal, which I wasn't expecting to like the teal. What kind of paint are you using? I'm using acrylic, but if you wanted to know like the particular brand, okay, so this is the black that I'm using. If you can see, it's basically just like Winslow Newton, but these are let me show you some of the other paints that I use. So this is like another brand that I use. Is basically a brand that Blick owns. I think they just bought out the company or something like that. And then I also use this one when I'm trying to be a little bit more budget friendly, just because particularly this paint is really expensive because it's heavy body, so it lasts longer than this one because there's a lot of water in it. So I would say like if I had to like put by like cheapest to most expensive, it would probably be like this one, and then it would be this one, and then like this. So I have a red tube of this, and it was like $50. It's ridiculous. And in my last live, I was talking about like I don't know it, like I already knew paint was expensive, like, well, duh, because like I paint, but I haven't bought paint in a while because I usually buy it in the beginning, well, not in the beginning of the year, but like in the beginning of the school year. So like fall, like August, I usually buy paint, and so that's when I tap in and remember how expensive it is. So when I went to Blick the other day, because I ran out of white. Golden heavy. Oh yes, I do use golden, but I don't have any golden right now. But like this brand, it's just as good as golden and it's slightly cheaper. That's why I use this brand, because I love golden so much. Oh, I love them so much. But like, yeah, if you ever need to get paint that's slightly cheaper but you still like heavy body, yeah. I've only ever seen it at Blick. Like, I've never seen that brand at Michael's. So if you don't have a Blick, you could probably order it like on their official website. But yeah, I would say it's very similar to how like the golden paint feels. But okay, so I was at Blick and I was like basically gonna buy a tube of white paint, and it was $27, and it's like a regular brand that I get. I could not believe a tube of white paint was $27. I did change the brand because there was no way I was spending like $27 on a bottle of paint. I can understand if it's red. red typically is just like super expensive because of the type of material. But like my thing is like, so I don't know if you know, but like how the paints say like the type of series that it is. So I'll show you an example. So like for example, this says like series 1 and this one says series 4. So this one is going to be like way expensive than this one cuz really burnt umber is just made out of dirt, and this one is made out of like heavy metals. So it's going to be like way more expensive than this. So for example, I think this bottle was like $50, I think, give or take. And then I think this bottle was probably like 15, which is like a significant difference. So when I saw a tube of white paint that's a series 1 that's $27, it's like, why is it $27? That is robbery. Over. Yes, please do. Cuz they work wonders. But I think now I definitely feel like I have to prepare for the next semester just because I have 2 painting classes and these are oil painting classes. So, I mean, we all know how expensive oil paint is. It's going to be way more expensive than my acrylic paints. And all of the oil paint bottles that I own, they're all like this itty bitty because of how expensive they are. And usually my professors want 50 million colors, and I have to pick and choose. Like, my class last year, I had to buy 20 tubes of paint. And if y'all want to guess how much I spent on 20 tubes of paint that were this size, like, it was like $500 just for paint. Like, this doesn't include the canvases. This doesn't include the brushes that he wanted. And keep in mind, I was buying the cheaper brand. Like, just imagine if I was paying for like one of the more higher end brands or like the professional grades. I was buying student grade stuff. Although I didn't buy any hues. Like, he said buying a hue was okay, but he said it's better if you buy the pure version. Because he said, like, basically buying a hue is essentially like a waste of your money. And at first I didn't understand it because I'm just like, well, it looks like the same color. And then he added white into it to basically show what the undercolor is. And it low-key makes sense. Although I still have a handful of hues, I just didn't know it was a hue. When I didn't know that when a color says like, say it says like cadmium red hue, I didn't realize that was a significant difference in like cadmium red. Because a cadmium red hue will probably be like $15, probably the most, maybe. But like a pure cadmium red will be like $50. And yeah, I didn't know that there was that significance of a difference based on like a hue and a pure color. Which is kind of bad. Like, low-key, that professor made me a snob about about like paint. It's so bad. So sometimes when I go to the store, just because like since I like sell my paintings, of course, I want people to have the best value, well, the best quality painting. Yeah, the best quality painting. And I feel like if I cheap out on paint, then my collectors are losing out on quality, at least in my opinion. And I'm not saying cheaper paints are like necessarily inherently bad quality, because like I wouldn't necessarily say this is bad quality, but I would say that it's super watered down and you're probably gonna run out of this if you paint a lot super fast, if you use a phthalo green a lot, which I personally use phthalo green a lot. Which is, I bought another color. I bought this and I didn't realize that I still had phthalo green just because I haven't really been painting with acrylics lately. And I've been really tapping into oils because oils, they're very scary to me. And I just feel like I need to face my fears with oil. And I can't be afraid of the medium, especially when my major is painting and drawing. I can't just sit there and be afraid of using oil. I just don't like how I have to think while I'm painting. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I feel like with acrylic, I just like la 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 la. But like with oil, say I wait a couple of days and I just use oil straight out the tube and I start painting with it, and then I sit here and start wondering why my painting is cracking. I think that's why I like, well, one, I feel like painting with oil is just way more of a hassle because you have to open up the windows, you have to do this, you have to do that. Um, Fat over lean rule. With acrylic, I just add water and put it on the palette, put it on the canvas. So I just think it's a very different dynamic compared to oil paint. Well, I would say a lot of people who've never oil painted or who don't oil paint often are pretty intimidated by the medium, which makes sense because yeah, it makes sense. And plus, I really don't like the smell of paint thinner. Although in my house, since I'm not at the studio, I actually don't use paint thinner. And not to mention, if you don't dispose of it properly, it'll like combust. So, yeah. So when I did use it in my house and I had all these paper towels that had paint thinner in it, I'll you're not supposed to throw it in the trash because it'll catch on fire. Well, so they say. Also, my professor said that that actually happened in one of his classes, like way back in the day, I guess. He said like I guess the student like threw away a paper towel in a regular trash because in the studio we have metal trashes, so when they combust, it just stays confined. So after he told me that, I was like, oh, like I'm not doing that. Also, okay, in my dorm, so I'm not in my dorm now, but in my dorm it's like super small, and I would basically have like my oil painting up, and like let's say I stand right here, my bed would be like right here, and after I'm done oil painting, I would lay down, and I would just like smell oil paint. I know, like I know it's bad, but I'm like thinking about it now, and I'm like, why did I do that? I did that for like months. I think I did it for a few months. I would just like sleep next to an oil painting, and I hear it's really bad. I also did this thing in ceramics when I was in it, so I didn't know how dangerous ceramics could be. And so, for example, one of my pieces, it got fired, but this was like I forgot what it's called when it gets fired, but like it's before you put glaze on it, but it got fired, and so I needed to sand it down because it was a little bit bumpy, and I'm like sanding it down and I have no mask. And I'm like shh, and then like particles are going everywhere. And the way my friend, she's like a ceramic major, she looked at me and she walked away and she was like holding her like her mouth, and she's like, you shouldn't be doing that. I was like, doing what? And she's like, why are you sending it down with no mask? And I was like, am I doing something wrong? And she's like, do you not care about your health? What do you mean I don't care about my health? So yeah, I learned that super quick in ceramics, that ceramics is, I guess, toxic. Also, is it like, I still don't know what the health of like the health effects of, I guess, playing with dirt, because that's essentially what ceramics is. That's moldy. Like I wonder if it does anything significant like to your health, as in regards to like negative effects. Because I honestly don't know if it causes any negative effects because the smell of it is horrid. It's like really bad. And sometimes I just think about it because at first I'm like a huge germaphobe when it comes to anything, and I don't like getting my hands dirty, even though like I paint. Like we're not talking about painting, we're talking about ceramics. So like when it gets under your nails and stuff, I just can't. And okay, I like to get my nails done, so I can paint with nails, but I can't do ceramics and nails. Like people who are like G's at ceramics, they can paint. They can like throw on the wheel and nails, but not me. I'm a ceramic amateur. So sometimes when I think about my clay molding and I'm like doing all this stuff and the fumes are just, because moldy clay smells horrendous. And I just, at first I used to wear gloves, but then I was like, no, this is not, it's hindering the things I can do. So I just started taking off my gloves, and literally I would have like moldy clay all over my hands and it smelled horrible. So I'm like, I wonder if that's bad for your health. So you know how like black mold is bad for your health to like breathe in. So I wonder if that's like equivalent. Even though I don't know what type of mold it is, to be honest. But I just think like I wonder if that's just as bad. And I guess not only am I breathing it in, but it's like on my hands, so my skin's absorbing it. I can only imagine how bad it is. So I should search that up. Or if anybody knows, please let me know if you know if there's something like really bad when it comes to having moldy clay on your hands. Because I've never personally seen anybody talk about it. So like when I saw mold, I was like, is this safe? I think it's strange how a person that paints with oil is talking about is it safe? Because I paint with oil, like paint thinner, which is real dangerous. So I think it's just like. But even though I'm talking all this smack about ceramics, I'm taking it again next semester. I'm really excited. I really like ceramics. Like I don't know if any of you guys do ceramics or the type of like art mediums that you guys do, but I really like ceramics. I would say the difference between how I feel about ceramics and painting. So, of course, I would never change my major because painting, I love painting, but ceramics is just like I find ceramics to be super super fun. I think painting's fun, but I take painting super serious, like really serious. So if a painting doesn't go right, I'm upset about it. Like a Debbie Downer, but it's really bad. Like I'm crashing out. I'm like, oh my god, this painting is not turned out the way. And then I go to the next one because it is what it is, and I feel like it's unrecoverable. But there's been like things that I messed up on the wheel, and I'm just like, oh, well, it's fine. I'll just do another one. But maybe it's because I just find it as like. I think ceramics for me is more of like a hobby. Like all the stuff I made in ceramics, I loved it so much. I just gave it away. I Yeah, I just gave it away. I gave it to like my friends and stuff. I wish I had. Actually, maybe I could show y'all. Hold on. If you stay in here, give me a second. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, so basically this is like one of the pieces that I made in my ceramics class, and I try to make everything related to like religion so that I can have like a really good portfolio. So this is like one of the vases that I made. It's crazy, isn't it? Y'all really can't see inside, but this is like kind of how the vase looks, and I have like the apple and the snakes. And yes, the snakes do wrap around. So I was not playing around. I think this is like the only thing that I kept for myself. I made a bunch of like bowls and stuff. I was thinking about, since I'm taking ceramics this semester, about making like little cute keychains and like selling them to y'all if y'all like want them. Just to make things more affordable for those who like my art. Cause I think this is so cool. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think about this. But I was super happy the way it came out. Ooh, let me like hold on, y'all. I'll be back. But I will say a couple of things that made me upset about ceramics. So when it gets fired, okay, the good well, maybe let me. So it gets fired, but like we don't have to pay because we're like students, and we already pay like a studio fee of $75 when you first get into the class. That's included with a 25 pound bag of clay. So that's pretty good. But when your stuff gets fired, it goes on this like shelf. So it's a shelf for like all of the classes. And I had two pieces that I threw that someone took. I don't know who took them, but someone took them, and I'm really upset about it because I was looking up and down for them and I couldn't find them. So whoever took them, please give it back. I like I really want them back. Please give them back. and they were supposed to be for people. So I think that was also like another pretty upsetting part about it. Because it's one thing for like a ceramic piece to get stolen that's like for me or something, but it's another thing. It's like, dang, that was like for somebody and you took it. Like you took it, and I don't necessarily think, I hope it wasn't on purpose. I don't think it was on purpose. I think someone just probably thought it was theirs for whatever. I don't know why they thought it was theirs, because you should have seen the way I was throwing glaze on there like it was nobody's business. Like, to be honest, like the way I was throwing glaze on there is like I had no idea how it was gonna come out. Like I would put like ancient jasper, and then I'd put another glaze on there, and then I put a different. I'd be like, okay, let's see how it turns out. And so I had to like really look at it. I'd be like, yeah, this is definitely mine. So that's why I took pictures of them before they went and got fired, so I knew how many like cups I was supposed to get back, how many bowls I was supposed to get back. So when I looked through my photos and I was like, I feel like I'm missing some, and I looked through my photos, I was like, I'm missing two, and I don't know where they went, and I don't know who took them, because like I really hope it was an accident, but also like you know you didn't make that, like you know you didn't make that. Also, I don't know, like, so how do y'all feel about like art trades? So I don't really do art trades with other painters just because I paint, but I like to do art trades with other art mediums, especially if I don't do it myself. So like, would I do an art trade with ceramics? With another ceramic person? Maybe, actually. I think I might do like one with another ceramic person. But basically, so I'm doing this art trade with one of my friends, and she crochets. Oh my gosh. I am so excited because she crochets so good, and that's just something I can't ever tap into crocheting. Like I think crocheting is cool, and I love the people who do it, but I just don't think I have the patience for it. Like I am so sorry. I don't think I have the patience for it. But she liked one of my cups so much that we were like, "Oh, bet, like we could do a trade. Like you make me a crochet piece, I give you a cup. Like it's yours." And I have another friend. He does he does jewelry, and he makes really 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 good jewelry. I like he almost inspired me to want to go like make jewelry, but then I realized how like difficult it is to actually make jewelry, and then I was thinking about it like I don't know if I have the patience to actually sit there and learn the craftsmanship of like making jewelry the way he makes jewelry, because he spends so much time in the studio making jewelry, and I feel like if I actually took jewelry it would take away from like the paintings that I make, because I don't feel like that with the ceramics. I don't feel like ceramics takes away from the paintings that I make, especially since like my ceramic pieces can also go with what's it called, my ceramic pieces can also go in my portfolio. Well, I guess jewelry pieces can also go in the portfolio too. But jewelry, not to mention, jewelry is really expensive. Like he was telling me how much a sheet of like silver is. Like one sheet, probably about like this big. And I think he said it was like $150 to like $200. And I was oh, and that's like the sheet that like kind of goes like in the underneath the ring. I don't know how to explain it. Like basically you put the gem in like the ring. Anyway, I don't really know the terminology, but that's how he was explaining it to me. But basically he said that he made this like ring. It was beautiful. And he said that he would make me a ring if I made him a set in ceramics, and I'm like sold. The amount of time and effort it's gonna make me to make a set is gonna be equivalent to the amount of time, money, and effort that it is for the wing. So the wing, the ring. So I think it's a pretty good trade-off. The only thing I'm worried about is I feel like with ceramics you can't, at least for me, I feel like I don't get my hopes up with ceramics, because I feel like at the end of the day, whenever you fire it, it's gonna do whatever it wants to do. So that's why I'm a little worried. I feel like I gotta let him know, like, I know you want these things, like, hopefully it's there. Hopefully it doesn't crack or combust when it gets fired. But like no promises. I also hope that, well, I'm sure that, because I basically was telling him that, like, I don't think we should start until, like, August, just because that's when I'm gonna have the class. And so, like, then we can, like, give it to each other at the same time. Because most likely he's probably gonna get it probably around, like, October, November, give or take. It kind of just depends on all of the projects that I'm working on and how long his stuff takes. Because I don't remember what the trade off was. I think it was like 2 bowls in a cup, or 2 cups in a bowl. And I've definitely thrown cups and I've thrown bowls. Were they perfect? No, but they were cute and everybody liked them. So, also, by the way, would you guys like purchase cups? Like, if I sold them, would you guys purchase them? Or like keychains? I'm thinking keychains. I just think keychains are super cute, dainty, and you can take them anywhere. Like, you can have them on your backpack, you can have them like on your pants. I feel like keychains are just super versatile. So I just think, well, people like mugs too, but I just feel like people would probably appreciate keychains better. I don't know, that's just me. Plus, I feel like it's much easier to make keychains affordable compared to cups. Well, I don't know. I'm on the fence because I don't even know how to price ceramics. Like, someone asked me how much I was charging for a cup, and I couldn't tell them because I don't know how to price ceramics. Like, I remember once I seen this cup, and it was like $55. I was like, $55 is kind of pricey. I'm not gonna lie. Like, maybe if I liked it enough, I would probably be down to spend $55 in a mug. Like, for painting, I know how to price painting. I know, yeah, I like, at least my paintings. I know how to price my paintings. But ceramics, like, for those who saw the vase that I showed you, I don't know how to price that. Like, I was thinking about submitting that to like an art gallery or something like that, and I couldn't tell you how to price it. I really don't know. Cause like, you think of time, and it's like, okay, particularly that vase took me a long time to make, and it wasn't like, it was the snakes. The snakes is what took me a long time, and then you think about probably like the cost of the glazes. But even then, I'm like, okay. And then for some people, you have to think of the price of them actually firing the piece, which a lot of studios like charge some sort of price per, I think, like the size of it. But I don't really know exactly how that pricing works because I get it done at my school. So I think that's also like another thing. Yeah, I just think that it's like super hard for me to like visualize how pricing would go. Maybe if I just look at a couple of other people who do like ceramics, I'll have a better idea of how to price ceramics. But also, I'm not like, I don't know. It's not something that's like, I guess, for profit. I just do it for fun. Ooh, actually, I just realized what I think would be a great idea. I think I'll make some like ceramic stuff, right? And I'll do like giveaways of ceramic things. Oh wait, that sounds lit. Giveaways of ceramics. Hold on. So maybe I do the keychain idea, right? But some of them will be for sale, and then I'll have some for like giveaways. But also I'll do cups for giveaways too. So like, yeah, when I hit like a subscriber count, or like, yeah, that actually sounds. I need to write that down. Like, I need to keep that. I need to keep that in the notes. Like, ceramic giveaways. Yeah, because I want to get back to the people that like support me. You know, I don't want to just be like a person that like take. Like, no, like, I need to get back to people that support me. So I feel like the best way would be like a ceramic giveaway like that. Yeah. And even like, I could probably do like a tier list of like 3 people, and then like whoever like number one is, they'll have like first choice, second person will have like second choice, and then the third one will just get whatever is left. So I think that's It's good. That's really good. Hold on, I'm cooking up. I was thinking about doing that with like prints as well. I think paintings is much harder unless it's small scale. Just because like at least for me it takes much more effort for me to paint something than it is to do ceramics. Although my ceramics look pretty good. Like I think that they look good, at least in my opinion. At least from what the people have told me, they say it looks good. So I'm gonna assume that yeah, they might not be the most symmetrical pieces, but they look good. But honestly, I think maybe I'll just let like the people tell me what they would rather have, like a ceramic giveaway or like a giveaway for like prints hmm, or I could just do like a lot more people than 3. I guess it just kind of depends on like where I'm at, like financially, I guess, and how like I want to give back. Because I'm still like, I kind of know where my content, like where it lies, but I don't know where, if I want to go towards like more of like my journey of being an artist or like teaching. Wait, hold on. I'm like, I lost my train of thought. I hate when it like whoop, it like flew away. So I'm like, because I feel like my content is kind of like a mixture of the two. Because there's when I'm in school, you guys see like a lot of college content. Just because I just feel like people are interested in college content. I know I'm interested in college content, especially for people that go to like Cal Arts or like RISD. I'm always interested in like I'm like, oh, like what are you guys doing? Like what? That's so interesting. I think the only thing about like my school that I wish they did differently, the amount of drama that they have in college is like, and I'm not talking about the students, I'm talking about the professors, the instructors, the type of drama they have. Like, you just hear them in the corner, like, pss, 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 pss. I'm like, oh, now she was talking about the last professor. I'm like, oh, so we all don't like them. Okay. And I think it's interesting because I low key get validation when there's other professors that don't like certain professors that I also don't like. They're not my cup of tea. So I always think that's like super interesting. But I always think that's super interesting. I don't know. It's just like so crazy to see adults bicker. Like, yeah, I'm an adult, but like grown people, like 40, and y'all are bickering. Y'all are bickering. Oh, I I don't know about that one. Like, there's something, and I feel like there's drama in like all of the sectors of each major, but especially like the drama in ceramics. The tea is hot. It's piping because I will I just won't say names. So basically, I didn't know that it was such like a stigma to use like recyclable products, and I didn't know that was for like anything, like any type of art, which I found was weird. I didn't know that was like a thing, but I could care less if that's a thing or not, because if I'm gonna use like um so for example, they have this resource center that has like a bunch of art supplies that people donate. There's some artists that like look down upon people who like use products from places that are from like art resource places, and I just think that's so crazy. It's like, what, like, how disconnected are you for you to just sit there and be like, oh, well, you're not a real artist because you use stuff from the artist resource center, which is crazy. Or if so for example, I guess for like ceramics, it's looked down upon for you to use like recyclable like products. Like for my professor they had, they called her, clay that she made, they called it trash. Like, they literally was just like, you need to go throw that away, like, now. And that is so crazy. Like, that is so dense to me. Like, not everyone has a bajillion dollars to just go and spend a bag on art supplies. So if it doesn't really matter if they got it from the art resource center or got clay and did a whole mixture to make like recyclable clay, like I feel like there shouldn't be any sort of stigma against that. And I feel like if there is a stigma, well, obviously there is, but I feel like for those who really highlight that stigma, like, oh my gosh, you're not a real artist, it's just like, you're projecting. Like, if your art sucks, just say that. If you're not a successful artist, just say that. Like, why are you being this type of person because, oh, you're the director of like the arts and blah 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 blah, and you shouldn't be using this certain product because that makes you less of an artist. What? That's just so crazy to me. Like, I don't know why people think that it's okay to do stuff like that. And I also feel the same way with, I guess, there's sometimes when I hear stigmas about certain things, it just like it really irks me. Because I just feel like certain type of people just want to gatekeep art so bad. Like, no, like it's not supposed to be for everybody. Like, um, you need to only present it to your collectors and this and that and the third, and it's just like, what? Not everything has to be a money grab. And I just feel like they like trying to gatekeep art is so weird to me. And especially, you want to know what really irks me? When I see people who are my age who speak the same way. We're just like, oh, you post your art? Ew. Oh, no. That that really irks me. Like, that will make me crash out. Well, not crash out, but it just makes me think like, that person is dense. Like, why would you put yourself in a box when you don't have to put yourself in a box? That's also kind of how I feel when there's galleries who, because there's a lot of galleries that, at least now that I've heard, because at first I didn't know this, that they don't like when artists post their art because they want their art to be like exclusive. So like, you can only go see it in the gallery. But also a lot of galleries, so usually the percentage they take in the galleries is between 35 to 50%. Honestly, if a gallery's taking more than 50%, you probably shouldn't show your work there. Well, I'm just gonna say that. That's what I've been told. So I do think usually it's around like, yes, usually the percentage galleries take is between 35 and 50. So one of the galleries I'm showing at, they take 50%. Yeah, they take like 50% or something like that. Which is like, okay. But also, there sometimes galleries, they basically don't want you to reach out to the people who are your collectors because they want to kind of gatekeep those collectors to that gallery. So basically, if you're reaching out to the collector directly, which I think everyone should, like, you should reach out to your collector directly, especially since, like, if you know the gallery is going to charge them this price because the gallery takes 50%, then like, you can go straight to them and charge them the price that you were going to charge. That's just how I think about it. But yeah, they don't want people like selling to people online because it impacts the amount of money they'll make. So like, money grab. They're like, oh, I feel like I also see that I didn't realize that certain galleries also only like to, I guess, present people who make a lot of work super fast, which is interesting. Because I guess they always want to make sure that that artist has like work coming through all the time. So if they don't, they like really don't want to represent you. But I think it just depends on the art gallery, because if the art gallery is more like contemporary based, then they're more, so contemporary based art usually is harder to sell because those are like, that's like the type of art people are like, what is this? And so usually those people who make that type of art, they usually get their money through like grants and like other means of getting their money, I guess. And then there's like commercial artists, which is, commercial artists is super broad. That's what I'm gonna say. They're like super broad. So it can go from like you create anything, or you can be like that commercial artist that like is really good at like, not really good at one thing, but usually they have like, do y'all know those artists that always make the same thing? They make the same thing because it sells. So whoever their gallery is like backed by, they're like, yeah, keep making that because it sells. In a sense, if that like issues, I'm back. Okay, hey. Oh, by the way, did you look at the website? Like, I just I wanna know your opinion. And like, what was your opinion on the prices? Like, do you think they're slightly cheaper than Golden? Because I just feel like they're slightly cheaper than Golden, in my opinion, and they're like the same. What was I talking about? Oh my gosh, I like lost my train of thought. It like floated away. Let me think. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, commercial artists. They, I don't know. It's interesting. I actually didn't know that was like a method. Like, you have one piece of good price. Oh yeah, see. I'm glad you see what I'm seeing. Cause I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, like that's why I started purchasing from that brand. So I have like a bunch of tubes from that particular brand because it's pretty good. And the only reason why I actually found out about the brand is because my friend uses the brand. You're welcome. Yeah, my friend uses the brand, and I was like, oh, I've never heard of that brand. And then I tried it. I was like, a slightly cheaper version of Golden. I realized I really love heavy body. Because I don't like when I don't know if you guys know, like sometimes when like the painting is in front of a window and you can see through the painting, is a pet peeve of mine. Like it's like an extreme pet peeve. So sometimes when I pick up my paintings and I see that, I'm like, oh no, no. So that's why I kind of put on thick layers, and I feel like it's like way easier to put on thick layers when you're using heavy body paint compared to like something that's not heavy body. So that's just my thing. And also heavy body just lasts longer, especially since I'm heavy handed with paint. Like, you see this? I bought this not too long ago, and I don't know if y'all can tell how like empty it is, because I just like, yeah, that's my toxic trait. I do that with oil paint too though. And the only reason I used to use like a lot less oil paint until I started watching this YouTuber, and I wish I could remember his name, but I'm sorry, y'all, I really don't remember his name. But he does give really good tips about oil paint, and I was like struggling with it for a little bit, and he had said something about like blending and the way that it's how to blend better and why people struggle with oil paint. And he had said that it's because people aren't using enough paint, and I was like, I'm not using enough paint. And then it made sense. Honestly, once I started using more paint, I felt like it was much easier to use oil paint. And also he said how the brushes matter when you use oil paint, which I didn't grasp until I actually started trying different things out with my last oil painting. Yeah. So I think he was super informational. Like, I was like, wow, why? It made me think, like, I'm in art school, and I'm like, why has nobody like showed me this? Like, that really irritated me, honestly. I was like, I'm going like paying for art school, but also learning from YouTube University. So y'all, like, don't let anyone talk down. I agree. I learned. Exactly. Like, yeah, like don't let anybody talk down about y'all learning from YouTube University, because YouTube University coming in clutch. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, you're cooking. And I feel like also, um, I mean, the best way I learned is just like, I'm gonna use, but I think that applies. I agree. That's probably why I use so much, like why I use so much paint for acrylic. I use a lot of paint for acrylic, but I think the only time I'm using like kind of like this, how I'm like watering it down, is when I'm just like kind of doing like a wash of something. Or usually I don't use a lot of paint when I'm doing clouds. So like this, I use a dry brush and I just kind of just go to town, which is why my brushes look horrendous. Like, look at this. Like, look at this. This is so bad. I have other ones. Like, I couldn't tell you what happened to this one. Like, can y'all hear? Look at that. I need to start taking care of my brushes. This is horrible. These are like my acrylic brushes because I don't know how to take care of them. And also, you shouldn't use acrylic and oil brushes like the same together. You shouldn't use them for both mediums. So I have separate ones. My oil painting brushes are really nice. They're like super like long, and I can just like eat down with those. But since my oil painting brushes are more expensive, I definitely do take the time to take better care of them. Which is why I was so hesitant about buying expensive brushes in the first place. Because I know, literally though, because I know how I treat my brushes. So I think that's why it was very hard for me to even purchase more expensive brushes. I'm thinking, is it worth the price of spending money on brushes? And I would say, like, yes and no. I think when you're starting out, as long as you don't have brushes where the bristle is like coming out, like, then you're cool. I think particularly with acrylic, I like painting with soft brushes. Like, honestly, every time I paint with acrylic, I'm painting with soft brushes. So like all these brushes I showed you, these are all soft brushes. Even this crunchy one, before it was crunchy, it was soft. I actually don't know why I still have this. Just I don't know. I'm afraid to let go, so I'm not gonna let go of it. But for oil, I actually use hard bristle brushes just because um, I don't really like to use paint thinner in my house. So since I'm not using paint thinner, I'm using super thick paint. So it's a little bit harder to move around when you're using soft brushes with oil. And plus, I like the brush strokes it gives me when I use oil with hard bristle brushes. That's why I use hard bristle brushes. At first, I was a strong, like, soft brushes only. Now it's kind of like situational. But now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I do think one of like my soft bristle brushes, like the one I use, okay, the one that looks crazy, this one is used for clouds. So all the ones that kind of have this look where like the bristles are kind of like going out, they're all used for clouds. I like this one was soft, but it's kind of like rough now because I am heavy-handed, and literally when I'm doing clouds, I'm like going like that, and like, so I do think if you're doing that with your brushes, you should probably get cheaper ones and not more expensive ones if you're gonna do that with your brushes. Cause you will never ever catch me doing that with like a $20 brush. Like, no, it's just not gonna happen. Maybe if it's hard bristle, maybe. Because I did it with my hard bristle brushes. I don't know if that's like a good thing, but yeah, because usually with oil, I start off with a pretty thin layer, and then I'll go over it with like another layer of oil, but like with linseed oil, just because I like to look at the colors before I like commit to it, since I have a problem with committing to colors. But I've been doing this thing where I kind of want to make one thing better in each painting and do something that's out of my comfort zone. Wait, I like the brushes kind of yes, actually, okay, so the brushes that I just showed just now, I'm pretty sure they're all from Amazon. Like, it was like in a pack of like 10, I think. They're either from Amazon or they're from what's it called? Michaels. Oh, I love Michaels. I do think I should probably make like an Amazon storefront. So if you guys are ever interested in like the products that I use for my paintings, then like it's right there. Cause some of the stuff off the top of my head, woo, I'm like super forgetful, or not. Well, yeah, forgetful. I lose my train of thought. It's real bad. But yeah, I didn't think that brushes could impact the way your painting comes out that much. Like, I just, like, at first when people would talk about like, oh, you need to spend more money on brushes, I just thought people were just saying that just to say that, because like, if you know, you know. But I get it now. But I think to for some people to say like, there was this one person I was watching, and like, I don't want to like bash him because I think the stuff he does is really great. But he was saying something like, oh, like if you wanted to oil paint, he was suggesting that people shouldn't oil paint if you can't spend money on the real deal, because I guess it like kind of ruins the learning curve to oil painting, which in a sense, like, I get it, but also I like, no. Like, no, I'm sorry, like, not like, no. I think like, if someone wants to learn oil painting and they don't have like the money to get them like professional grade paint or whatever, I don't think like, I don't know, I just don't think that's like helpful. Maybe that's just me. I just feel like of course I wouldn't recommend someone to get the cheapest oil paint, because when you're looking at someone else oil paint and you're wondering why your oil painting isn't looking like that, well, one, it's a skill difference, but two, it's the type of oil paint you're using. But I feel like student grade paint is fairly good. Like, obviously it's not the best, but I think to say that like, oh, student, like if you can only afford student grade, then you shouldn't oil paint at all. I think that's a little dense. Cause what if you don't even like it? Like, let's be for real. Like, what if you don't even like oil paint? Like, you just want to start something and like you don't want the cheapest, but like getting mid tier paint is not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe that's just me though. Because my friend, for example, right? She bought the most expensive like oil paint. And keep in mind, she is a ceramic major. And so basically, what does she do? Yeah, she's a ceramic major, but since we're in like college, we're required to take certain classes. But so she was required to take um like a painting class, and painting is not her forte. So I did receive all the paint that she didn't use. But basically, yeah, she had the best, like, we're talking like professional grade paint. The paint that I'm like a little bit unwilling, well, it's not that I'm unwilling to buy, it's just like it's so far out of my price range. It's just like, I'll get there when I get there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll get there when I get there. But for her, it's like in her price range. So she bought all of it and she ended up not liking oil painting. So like, yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that like when someone starts, you think they need to buy like professional grade paint? I just don't. I just don't think that they need to buy professional grade paint, in my opinion. I do think that because it's kind of like, for example, my painting professor. Let me tell you, he was wonderful. He was great. Like, if he came back to ASU, he was low key just teaching for fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's like, I was retired, but I'm back here. Like, literally, yeah, he was there for shits and giggles. That's what he was there for. But he was great. He was honest. I actually prefer a professor that's super honest. I don't really like professors that just say your stuff is good just to say that your stuff is good, because then I feel like I can't trust what you're saying if you're saying everything that I do is good and that you don't have anything like constructive to say. Yeah, it's kind of a red flag for me. But where was I going with that? Yeah, for him, he was kind of he didn't necessarily have brand loyalty, which is honestly is good for me. I don't really like professors that have brand loyalty because I feel like they're kind of insensitive to everyone's financial situation when you have brand loyalty and you want people to get the most expensive brand because um well, since you can afford it, everyone should be able to afford it, and blah 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 blah. And um, some professors feel like every student should struggle. Like I've already struggled. I don't need to struggle even more because you want me to buy a tube of paint that one tube of paint at that costs $60 because you like this brand. I think that's a little dense. But yeah, so he didn't necessarily have brand loyalty, but he definitely was like, hey, so like if you want better paint, instead of buying a hue, buy a pure. He's like, I'm not saying a hue is bad, but he's saying that if you want to, I guess, get the value for what you're paying for the paint, then you should get the pure version and not a fake version of what that paint is, which to me makes sense. I was like, okay, like he's cooking. It didn't make sense at first until like he showed the example of like why you should pay for the pure and not like a hue of the color, which is like, okay, clock it. Um what else? Oh my gosh, what else was he saying? Um he didn't necessarily have any like things about brushes. Oh my gosh, if you did have super cheap stuff though, the way he would like grab your paint, right? Like I had this gesso. Oh my, he tore me up. He would like look at the paint, right? It was like some paint my friend had. It was like some oil paint that was like kind of in a bottle like this. And he like looked at it and he's like, what is this? He's like, where did you buy this monstrosity from? And all of a sudden they're like, sir, walk away, walk walk away, go, leave, because that like it wasn't even to me, it was to my friend. I was like, but he kind of did the same thing to me, which I'm not like that sensitive of a person, so like it didn't really bother me that much. I thought it was quite funny, but so I had this gesso. Oh my gosh, he looked at it and he said, where did you get this from? He's like, this is from like the dinosaur age. Sir, you're from the dinosaur age. Like, what are you talking? Why are you coming at me like that? And it was because, so the really, really good gesso, it's like, it's basically like, it comes from like rabbit skin or something like that. It's like animal glue. Something, that's like the really, really good gesso. And then there's like a cheaper versions of gesso. So like there's some gesso where like it's pretty much already and the nice consistency that it should be in, like kind of like a glue-like consistency. And so the one I had, he's like, what is this? And mine's just super thick. So basically I would like put it in a thing and I would have to add water and like mix it around, right? And he's like, I don't know how you're gonna do this. And I was like, just let me cook. Like it's gonna get done. Like you don't even know it yet. Like it's gonna get done. And it worked out while he was making fun of me. That's so crazy, right? He's like ancient and he's like making fun of me. It was crazy. He was a good time. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know what? Fine. You crack a joke about me and whatever. He would also be in my TikToks. That's why, yeah, he would be in my TikToks. He would like see my phone and my camera setup in class and he'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of the TikTok. And he would stand there and he'd be like, okay. Okay, like, move. I used it for clickbait, and I told him that I used it for clickbait, and he was like, "Where's my cut? Your cut? Who said I got paid? Like, you want a cut? Like, I think he's being serious, but um, anyway, yeah, he was a really really great professor. I just I don't know. I just feel like my school could be doing more. Like my like the school I go to is in like a traditional like art school, and honestly, for those who do go to the traditional art school, they're paying a bag. Like the private ones, like CalArts, RISD, they're all like private schools. What do I look like spending that big of a bag? Being $100,000 in debt when I leave? No, 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 no. So I just went to an in-state college that has an art school. And like my thing is like I wish it was more challenging. So we do like pretty large scale, like I've only taken one painting class. So next semester I have two painting classes. I have a figure painting class, which obviously I can't film in there because nudity, I can't film in there because we have like nude models, so yeah, we paint them. And then my other class, which I'll be filming in there all the time, hopefully. Well, it should be fine. Like I would be pretty shook if a professor told me that I couldn't film in his class. Like what? No. I need to get this content out so people can know. Like what? Um for YouTube University, you know? But yeah, I just feel like cuz some people feel stressed about like our art thing, and I'm just like no, I need more. And maybe it's because so right now in the fall I'll be going into my junior year, and I just feel like once like I've been here for 2 years and it's just not challenging enough for me. Like we've been still doing like still lives. I'm sick and tired of doing still lives. Sick and like I I don't I don't hate still lives, but I definitely don't want to keep doing them, especially since like still lives like that can't go in my portfolio. Like that has nothing to do with the type of art that I've been doing. So like that doesn't really add any type of value to my portfolio. Although I do a lot of art outside of classes, so that's also another thing. And not to mention, okay, so we have like senior exhibitions. So our capstone when we graduate, which is like a senior exhibition, and it's like a group exhibition with sometimes it's people that you pick, sometimes it's not. And my group of friends, we've been trying to like scout for people that we want in our group because I want to make sure that I have the best like senior exhibition they've ever seen. Like I'm not playing with them at all. And I just feel like, how can I say this? I sometimes when I go to the senior exhibitions, I'm like, how did you graduate? I'm just super curious. Like, what did you do during your whole 4 years being here? Because some people, right? Some people's like, wow, you know how you can tell when someone put effort in and tell when like people didn't. And it's like I felt like you just went into your closet and you found any piece of artwork that you've ever done and you put it on the wall. That's how some of the exhibitions look like. And I was just so appalled. I was like, oh my gosh. Because there's definitely some, since like my school, you don't have to have like a portfolio, which I think is fine. Like, for me personally, I didn't have a portfolio when I applied just because, um, so I took like a gap year before I went to college. Because, okay, so for context, when I graduated during like COVID. So, yeah, I graduated during there. So I was like, well, the world's a goner. So like, there's no point in me going to college. That's how I was thinking. So I didn't go. And then after like 2 years, I was like, you know what? I will go because I haven't like. And by the time I decided that I wanted to go, I had already been doing. Like I've always been like an artist. I just wasn't really like tapped into it, you know, because yeah, I just wasn't tapped in. Like there was like so much going on in my life that that was like the last thing I was worried about. Just like going to college, art, and all the other stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm just like mixing these colors together to like try to do something with the wings. But where was I going with this? Okay, so took a gap year, blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah. So, my school, we don't have to have like portfolios, and like I didn't have a portfolio, but you can tell like some people are like, I don't know why they're there. Like I don't know why they're there. And this is not even like being like mean, because I can, even if it's an art style that I don't like, I can definitely find something to appreciate about it, or even see the amount of work, like hard work someone put into a piece that they've made. I can definitely see that. But there's nothing that upsets me more is when someone didn't even try. And then like let's say I present this, right? And they have so much to say about your piece. That really irks me, because it's just like, I know you do not have a laundry list of all this stuff to say about my piece, and then like you didn't even attend. Like there's some people who just didn't do the project, and then like when critique comes, they have so much to say about your project, and it's baffling to me. It's baffling to me, and I'm not one of those people. Like I can definitely take like criticism, and I mean, like I said, I honestly prefer when like someone gives me some sort of criticism, because if like you're just saying everything I do is great, especially when you're like a professor, it's hard for me to uh, value the things that you say, in a sense, because it's like, so what? I don't know. It's just like I can't tell if you're lying or not, basically. Because there are some art professors that don't like hurting people's feelings, so they'll just say like, "Oh wow, like that's great," when they know it's not. Especially, I remember there was something I was making, and I was like, "Man, this composition," and she's like, "That's great," and I was like, "No," but I think sometimes it is genuine when like sometimes you can't see how great your art piece actually is, because I do think with like there's some people in my class, they're like Picasso's. I'm like, wow, I'm standing next to a Picasso, and you are just like, you're just like that. Gee, what? And they're like, oh, this is horrible. You and I both know. You and I both know that's not horrible. Like, what? We both know that's not horrible. At least, I think we both know that it's not horrible. Let me think. Okay, this needs to. It needs to be like a little lighter. See, this is the problem that I'm having with the wings. Like, I'm not exactly certain how I want it to look. So I'm still like kind of gauging. So I don't know if I should put like I don't know what it's called, but you know, like, not my headphones falling out, but you know, like that little line in between the feathers. Maybe if I put that in, it'll like make me feel better about it. But right now, this, I don't know what is going on, but I'm also trying to be careful about not creating too much texture yet. Because if I want to paint something, like paint over that spot, I want you to see like the texture of what it was. So that's also like my thing right now. It's like super. What time is it? Ooh, let me not get in my hair. Actually, let me like put my hair back, because if it gets in my hair, I'm gonna be upset. Okay, let me see what time it is, because I feel like, oh, it's 9. Okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna hop off. Wow, hop off pretty soon. Probably give it like 10 more minutes, give or take. Let me see how hot my phone is. Actually, no, it feels fine. My phone is basically like the temperature. Do you paint? I would say I paint most days. Yeah, I would definitely say I paint like most days. Just because, like, yeah, I don't know. I just paint most days. I have this thing where I feel like uh, I'm behind when it comes to art. I don't know if that makes sense because, like, I used to paint and not paint. Whoa. When I was younger, I used to draw all the time, and I was like pretty good at it. And then like I was one of those kids that took like a huge hiatus for like ever, and then I came back, and I just feel like I had to relearn a bunch of skills. So even though like the internet thinks my art is great and my peers think my art is great, I feel like it could be better. I don't know. I just yeah, so I do paint every day. Well, one, because like enjoyment, but two, also because if I decide that I want to do like a master's or something like that, um, I want to make sure that I have a super cohesive portfolio. And since I already didn't have a portfolio like coming into college, even though I was painting, like I think I was painting for about 2 years and I was posting about it and stuff. I none of it was like cohesive. I would just like paint whatever. Like I would be like, oh my gosh, this is cute. I'm gonna paint it. So that's kind of how it was. And honestly, I didn't get into painting until like maybe 5 years. 5 or 4 years ago. That's when I really started to get into painting. I used to be really bad at painting. Like I wish I had some of my older paintings. Maybe if I because we're in the midst of like moving right now, so maybe if I can like go and find them, maybe I'll actually show you guys like I'll show you guys my older paintings. Oh my gosh, they're so bad. A lot of my older paintings I've painted over though, or yeah, I've either painted over or they got like I sold them. So who knows where they're at now? Probably underneath another painting or they got sold. But yeah, for the most part I do paint. I wouldn't say every day. I would just say most days. So out of like 7 days, I paint probably 4 or 5 times out of the week. And if I'm not painting, I'm usually thinking about ideas of how I want to create a painting, or I am editing a YouTube video because it takes like so much time. And I've realized that so for me, going to college is really less about like having a piece of paper and like, oh, I got my bachelor's, blah 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 blah. Because I realized that I can't work for nobody because I've had so many jobs, and literally as soon as someone says, oh, I can't get that time off, I'm quitting. I'm leaving. What? I like me telling you that I'm not gonna be here tomorrow or not. Well, I'm not one of those people. I usually give them like time to be like, hey, like I'm not gonna be here this day, and they're like, well, you don't have enough PTO. I didn't ask if I had PTO. I'm letting you know I'm not gonna be here. I like you not having enough people to cover has nothing to do with me. I'm letting you know I'm not gonna be there. But I just knew from that I couldn't be the type of person that basically no, I can't work for anybody. Like I like my freedom. I like the ability to do the things that I like want to do. And I feel like if I really want painting to work out for me and I want to be a full-time artist, well, my thing is I want to be a full-time artist, but I also want to do content creation, and those two will kind of go hand in hand. And the thing is to make this like livable. So like not only can I paint for y'all and then like teach y'all or whatever, and some of my art, like I also want the ability to just like if I want to go to freaking Japan and paint, then I can do that. And I just felt like that being tied to a job that I have to work 5 days a week, 40 hours, that's not fulfilling for me. I can't, like, I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, like having only 2 days off for like the rest of my life every week. No, 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 no. I like, and then especially since like how they're talking about like social security and like uh, basically my generation, like they're just like, oh, you guys aren't gonna see it anyway, and it's just like, well, why would I even want to wait until I'm 60 to enjoy life? That means I would have, okay, 18, like 40 years of just like working to live. No, I can't do it. And yeah, that's mainly why I do paint so much, because like well, like I said, I take painting like super serious. And like especially like some of the life experiences that I have, I never want to live like that ever again. Like ever. And I feel like the only way that I will be like fulfilled is, I guess, working on my dreams and my aspirations. So like that's why I'm like, oh, I need to grind. I need to make sure that I have something established before I graduate. Because once I graduate college, like, ugh, like, no, I like thinking about it. It makes me stressed out. Well, I'm not like stressed, but like, just yeah. I'd be going too deep down the rabbit hole of like things in life. I think that's also why I have like just started to travel. So I've been really into like planning my own trips and trying to get my friends more open minded, which has really been like, it's been like pulling teeth. It's like so crazy. It's like, guys, like, please, like, I would say a lot of my like, I don't want to. Well, yeah, they're like a little bit closed minded, and I can kind of understand because it's kind of hard to believe something is possible if you can't even like imagine it for yourself, you know? So that's when so last year I took a solo trip to Thailand. I went there by myself for 20 days, and keep in mind, this girl right here, directly challenged, I barely know my left from my right. So you can only imagine me wandering around Thailand, like in the airport, out of the airport. Oh dear Lord. Hey, I made it back though, because I'm here. But the reason why I even took that solo trip is because I told myself I'm not gonna let people hold me back because they don't believe in themselves. Like if there's only so much I can tell someone and like um make them believe that something is possible. And I think a lot of the people, when I was trying to pitch like going to Thailand and how we can save and like how we can like get there, like it's possible, it just, no, it wasn't working out. And I've only been able to convince like one friend to come out of the country with me, so I think that's like pretty good. But yeah, I think after that I've just like decided that I really want to like really really live life. So yeah, I guess it's like, yeah, that's like my little like TED talk, I guess. I don't know, like what do you guys think? Because I know everyone's definition of like living life is like super different than what like my philosophy is for living life for me. I know for some of my friends, I love to ask like my friends what they want, like what a fulfilling life is for them. Like one of my friends, she wants to have a bajillion kids. Like for me, no, probably because like older sister, like, yeah. So basically, I was raising them when I was a kid. Like no, no. But yeah, like for one of my friends, like something that's fulfilling for her is like having a bunch of kids. I was like, that's interesting. I have another friend, like for her having like a little cottage in like a forest. That's like her thing. Although I think that would be pretty cool, like having like a little cottage. But I think that's, and I would say that's kind of what I did for like my gap year. I really just tried to find things that what I liked and what I didn't like. You should have remained open. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. You're definitely cooking because I don't like I live in the present, but also I I plan for the future like a lot. So I think that's also like another thing. So this is what I tell my friends. So a lot of the professors that are at the school, usually they aren't just a professor, they do other things, which is why I spend a lot of time with my professors to get to know them and also like to learn about some of the other things that they do. And especially since those are like the type of people that like lifelines in life that can really help me, which is why from taking that gap year, it allowed me to really hone in on the things that I like and the things that I dislike, which is what I found that is super valuable. I think as soon as a lot of people don't know what they actually want to do in life, which is why they like change paths so often. But I think that I think taking a gap year was super beneficial. Like honestly, I think it's way more beneficial for someone to take a gap year and go to college than go from high school straight to college, because I feel like once you get a taste of how the real world is, it helps you make better decisions on whether you want to work in this field or you want to work in this field, or if college is or isn't for you. Yeah, and I also think when you go into college and you're a little bit older than 18, you value I guess you I would say that you value the connections that you make a little bit more, because I'm not like a I'm not like a partier or anything. Like that's not really my thing. I'm a pretty like no nonsense type of person. Like if only if y'all could see the type of books that I read. Like I read like business books and all sorts of other things. So yeah, I do get when you say like plan for the future, because I definitely do that. Like I have like a planner. I am not playing. Like I think sometimes when I tell people my plans outside of college, they think I'm crazy, which is fine. If you think I'm crazy, like hey, it's gonna work out. Like you you don't see the vision, but I'm telling you, the vision is there. It's cooking. So I just think that yeah, people should find the things that they like. Cause I don't know if y'all have heard the saying of when to not work in fields that you're like passionate about, like hobby fields, or I guess, because then that starts to feel like a job. To be honest, like being on live painting to me does not feel like a job, which is why I don't get burnt out. I don't really get burnt out of ideas. I have tons of ideas. So like this to me doesn't feel like work, but going to a desk. Oh no, I just no, no, no. But like this doesn't feel like work. Like this is fun to me. This is exciting, and it gives me like I don't know, like freedom, because like I get to paint, I get to talk to people, and yeah, even like I don't let, because usually for the first like sometimes it's for the first like 30 minutes, sometimes it could be for like the first hour there's like nobody in here, and I don't really take that too hard, just because I know that I'm just beginning my like you like actually taking YouTube seriously, because I feel like I've been like not taking YouTube seriously. So I've told myself this year to actually take YouTube seriously and to be able to make this a platform that I like succeed in. Because if I can do it on Instagram, if I can do it on TikTok, if I can do it on like Facebook, of course I can do it on YouTube. Although YouTube is much more difficult to like grow a following and like kind of like a support system, which I knew like signing up. This is kind of like how for like painting, right? A lot of people would be like, "Well, why would you go into painting if you're trying to live this type of lifestyle?" Well, I know what painting has. Like I've realized that if people like stuff, if people people are willing to spend money if they like it enough. This is why there are jobs that have no names because people aren't aware of them. So it's like, I think it would just be so. I think it's kind of funny if like people are just like, "Where do you get your money from?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I like paint," and they just look at me crazy. Like that's funny to me. They'd be like, who, like, what do you mean? I just think that's like kind of entertaining. I don't know, because a lot of people can't like even like fathom that. And I mean, we all see the state of the world right now. So I just feel like no matter what, um, no matter what major I pick, a piece of paper does not guarantee me a job. Like someone could fire me tomorrow. Like I could have a six-figure paying job as a software engineer, and then AI takes my job, and now I'm jobless. So that's why I picked something that I like, because one thing that I know is that from taking my gap year, I realized that I am not money motivated. Like, even the jobs that paid me well, I was unwilling to stay there just because I just didn't really like the work environment. I didn't like how restrictive it was. I didn't like not being able to wear my nose piercings, not being able to dye my hair. Like, I just. No, like, honestly, it made me sad because I was like, oh my gosh, the pizza parties are real. Ugh. And like I was like, oh no. And like thinking about like I like working in like corporate America, I was like always the youngest. And when I see people that are working there, and I did this thing. I love to ask people who went to college. I like to ask them like, did you go to college? Would you major in? And usually it was like all sorts of different majors. And I always asked them if they were going to college. And a lot of them say yes. A lot of them, okay, I would say 70% say yes. The reason why they say yes is either they felt like because of the debt. I think that's what they regret the most. Because there's some people who don't regret going to college, but they regret the amount of debt that they accrued, like going to college. So I think majority of the people actually enjoy their college experience, but I think there's a lot of people who didn't like the degree that they ended up picking, or um the like the repercussions of having so much debt is has been weighing on them. That's what I've noticed. And I've also, this is also like disheartening to me. So like keep in mind, I'm like working in corporate America and I only have a high school diploma, and these people have degrees, and I there's been some people that have like masters, and I'm like, why are you here? And that's another thing that really that made me take a step back and really reflect, because the amount of people that I would see that have college degrees, they have masters, and I would ask them how much they get paid. And I know that's like kind of taboo for people, but like let me know, like, are we getting paid this time? Or are you getting paid more? And if they're getting paid more, they have a college degree, like duh, they should. But a lot of the times that wasn't the case. They're getting paid the same as me, and I'm like, you have a college degree, you have a master's. Why are you and me getting paid the same? I'm like, that. A lot of jobs did not. Oh my gosh, they did not like me because I would stir the pot. I would really make people like think, because I do not like when companies use people, and I don't like that. Like because I definitely want to have like a company for myself, and I told myself like the type of uh, the way I would treat my employees is the way that I would want to be, the way I've always wanted to be treated, like working in an environment for someone. So it's just like some of the things, it's just like you're paying them the same as someone who just graduated high school. Like that's crazy. Like that's so crazy to me. And like, yeah, it might have been like that person's fault for not negotiating pay, but then like thinking about it, it's like, did none of you guys negotiate pay, or like what's going on? And keep in mind, a lot of these people had kids, and I don't have kids. I just was just like, well, I need money, so I was working there. So I just think like, I don't know, I have a much different outlook on life based on like some of those experiences and some of like the experiences like growing up. And I was like, man, if I've been restricted for my entire childhood, I don't want to be restricted now when I have the choice to not be restricted. And that's why I always like tell myself, if I want something to happen, then I have to go and get it for myself. So I guess it's like another reason why I like paint, because like I'm very aware of how hard it is to like make a living off of painting. So in order to actually make that a real thing for me, I better put 110% effort into something that I believe in. Which is kind of like how like what I do for like traveling now. And I even do this when I'm like at, so there's this one job that I work at, and I work at it because I'm like, I I have a little bit of like free will to like do things. I don't know if that makes sense. So like I can paint at my job, you know? I could like idea build for like my YouTube or for this or for content creation or stuff like that. I like the ability to be able to do that, which is why I've still been there, and I'm getting paid like minimum wage, pay like nothing. But I think I work there because it's convenient for me. Cause like one, I'm not exhausted. Although I do want a monster right now, and I do work super early in the morning. But one, I like the hours. I like to be able to go on my phone, pull up my laptop, like work on a thumbnail, work on a YouTube video, just do some of the things. We gotta run. Oh yes, girl, you have a good one. It is pretty late. I'm not gonna lie. Well, it's not. Well, it depends where y'all are at in the world, because right now it's about to be 10. It's about to be 10. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, like life, the world. It's just so much going on. I just no no. And also, I I got worried that uh I want to be able to see the beautiful greenery before I like am not able to. So I think that's why I'm also so like, I want to travel, I want to travel, I want to travel the world. So that's also like a thing. And I don't know if any of you guys do this. Sometimes I will just like, out of curiosity, I'll just like search up some random country and see how much it is to fly there. I'd be like, oh, the ticket isn't that bad. And then I'll look at like the hotel, and I'd be like, okay. And you know, I was thinking, so I'm supposed to be going to Japan in like 2 weeks, which I'm super excited about. I still haven't completely decided if I'm gonna film content there or not. Um, you guys let me know if you guys want to see like live streams and stuff like that. It'll probably still be mostly art related, just because well, if it is more like travel related, I think I'll probably have to make a different type of channel for that, just because um I forgot what someone said, but it was something about like having too many things on one channel makes the viewer confused on the type of channel that you are. Yeah, I think that makes sense. But yeah, I just wanted to, I'm still debating on if I'm gonna film out there, but I was thinking about my next country being like Switzerland. And then I realized how much the food is. I saw a video, and someone said their burger was $50. $50? Why? Why was it $50? Like I'm genuinely confused. So like maybe I'm gonna have to wait until I get a little more coin in my pocket. And even for my birthday, I think I think Portugal is where I want to go, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I still have to like do a little bit more budgeting and stuff like that. But anyway, y'all, it's getting late. I am the. I got paint on. Wait, did I get paint on the desk? Oh my gosh, I got paint on the desk. Okay, so I'm about to go now, y'all, And thank you for the people that tuned in and commented and stuff like that. Thank y'all for supporting my videos. And anyway, I'll see y'all later.